Hey guys, it's another week with Bob and Chris, and in the green room, I think I got Chris a little wound up with some stories about of what strange things that we've seen clients do, and you know, one of the things that I was just talking to them about was multi-factor authentication. Either like it or love it, you still have to use it.
And let's be frank, we try to keep this podcast, video podcast, going every week without going off the rails. And every week it goes off the rails. This is not going to be an exception.
Yeah, probably.
This is going to go. This is spicy talk, I guess, for IT.
So
Start
Chris,
with yours.
let me just retell the story. But I was working with somebody that self-manages their Office 365 environment,
Yep.
and we've told people have seen it, that insurance carriers require you to have multi-factor authentication on wherever you can, and Office 365 is a big vulnerability, guys. Well, this guy has multi-factor authentication on, and when I was watching on a shared session, watching them log in, they logged into a random browser that we were working on, and when it popped up with the multi-factor codes, it said, remember for 365 days. So I guess the employees didn't like putting in tokens too often. So now we get to work for a year. So Chris, what happens with that button when I say
This is good. Hey, guess what? If they go to a hotel and they go use one of those business machines and they log in and they accidentally click save, oh look, you just gave somebody access to your lovely email for a year. Ooh, that's
perfect?
good. Yeah. If and we've talked about this, where they can do session hijacking, where they steal the token like a hacker does. They get something on your machine, they steal it. Normally it's 30 days by default. They can refresh that token. There's ways to do it, but like even if they weren't smart enough to refresh it, if you just gave them a token that was good for a year, they can just access whatever they want. Also, I have a question. If you're willing to put that policy in, where else are you lacking? Like, if people running as global administrators every day?
A lot of people don't understand what it takes to actually put together the Office 365 environment. They think we can just go to Microsoft, pay $6 a month, and we're all set.
I'll tell people this all the time. Google and Microsoft give you a platform. It's not secure by design. It's not by default. It's not secure. You have to go through, and it's your responsibility. If you read their EULAs, which are about as boring as Apple's, actually maybe more so. Like, your data is your responsibility. They don't take responsibility if you don't lock your accounts down. And yeah, like you said, people just assume that cloud, it means secure. Well, cloud can mean secure. It is more secure than maybe sitting in your office, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's secure by default.
So let me back up for a minute, Chris. You said, well, one of the things you said, where else are people lacking or putting exceptions in place? We hear people say that they've got backups, but they never test them.
Oh, now you're gonna rile me up. We had a customer. The last backup that was good was December of last year, and we called every single month saying, "Hey, look, we need to get access to this server to work with you to make sure the backups are working." And they kept ignoring us until a few days ago, where suddenly their server died.
Wow.
Yep. And the backup was almost 7 months old.
That's okay. 7 months is good.
Yeah.
Depending on what the business is doing.
And
we don't even
until they have customers that they deal with every single day that are making changes to data that's tied into their server every single day. And now they have to basically go to all their customers and force them to do something that's not going to be very pleasant for their customers.
There you go. Yeah, we don't need to go into the specifics of that.
Yeah, I'm not going deeper than that. But
we don't need to go any deeper. But it goes back to show, from your perspective, this was a client that you only did backup for. You had no access to his servers. You couldn't go in and fix it without his help, and he ignored you. Yeah. And we've seen that too with other clients. That we had a client, had a big client, and we wanted to sit down and have monthly security meetings about what was going on, because this was a pretty big big risk what this client had. And 2 months in a row, we're sitting in the guy's office and he didn't show. And one of the times we actually got a message back, oh, I had an important meeting to go to. Wait a minute, data security is not important? And we ultimately figured out that he was better served by somebody else, and we moved on because there's so much risk there that the client data was on our platform. But guys, when you're working with an IT provider, they're not here just to be like a plumber and keep things going. We have stuff that we have to do, and you have responsibilities too, because ultimately, if the compliance people come knocking at the door, it's your neck first.
Yeah, I got another good story. This happened a few years ago. We got fired by a client, and fired not because we did anything wrong. They got bought by another company, and told that we're no longer needed because they had their own IT. Okay, that's cool. Not really cool, but like they bring this company 6 months into that contract or whatever they signed with the new company. We get a call out of the blue by one of the executives, and they come back to me and they're like, yeah, we have a problem right now. I'm like, okay, what?
No.
And it turns out their backup device ran out of space and wasn't backing up their server anymore. And they had went in and they wanted to make a change in their server, and they corrupted a bunch of data, and they go to restore it and realized that they were missing 7 weeks of backups.
Oh, wow.
This is not a small company. This is a company that basically lost millions of dollars because of that. And so I was on conference calls with them, helping them out, and we thought we were going to get them back as a company. And then COVID happened, and boom, they decided to freeze all spending, and then that was a lost opportunity. But
it's a strange place for you to be laying.
It just goes to show that even if you hire a new IT company, make sure they're doing things right. You want to stay on top of things. You want to make sure that you're always looking at stuff. Make sure that when you hire somebody that comes in and they replace your existing IT, that they're actually doing things that actually are an improvement. And talking to another company isn't a bad idea. Talking to somebody that's a confidant of yours that maybe doesn't provide IT to you is a really good idea, or cybersecurity. It's a really good idea just to have somebody that you can talk to and kind of ask questions about, or at least do an assessment on and give you an idea of like what's going on. It's not really a sales pitch. It's just good practice in general. It's like if you go to the doctor and you get an opinion you don't necessarily like, what are you going to do? Get a second opinion.
Get another one.
Yeah.
So, well, Chris, that brings up a really good point. Who's checking your IT guys? And why don't you talk a little bit about the assessment process that we could do to go double check and see what's going on, and really just give clients give business a sanity check to see if their IT guys really have everything covered.
Yeah, if you've ever been through an audit, which we don't really, Bob and I probably don't really love audits, especially if they're done by a CPA firm or something like that, because they're not really that thorough. They just ask questions. But like if you went through and did a risk assessment with a third party that's not providing you IT and cybersecurity services, you're going to get a really good report back. And that's something that we both do, but you're going to get a report back that kind of shows you like gaps and ways to improve. And even if you don't want to change like the IT company that you're dealing with, maybe you like them, maybe they do really good support, but they're just not right for certain things. At least you're going to know, and knowing's half the battle. It's like I'll go back to the healthcare thing. If as we age, we need to see the doctor more and more because we want to make sure that everything's working right. Want to make sure that you don't maybe have cancer, or I guess I went a little dark there, but make sure that things are going well. When you're in your 20s, whatever, nobody cares. Nobody goes to the doctor unless they really need to. But as you get in your 30s and 40s, things change, 50s, 60s, you're going to the doctor more often. Just a second opinion. Everything. Have an annual risk assessment's a really good thing for any company to do, regardless of whether you love your IT or not.
Absolutely. And the other thing, the second opinion doesn't have to involve your IT team. If you want to bring somebody in to look around, there are ways that we can look around, similar to testing what the bad guys could potentially see if they got in, and that's without using any passwords or anything in your environment. So it really does see what would happen if somebody came driving by.
But if you want to be upfront and you want to be formal about it, that's fine too.
You can do that too.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the data is yours. The IT is your responsibility. You're hiring somebody to help you with it. But all the bad things that can happen, it's really your responsibility. If you own the business, that's your responsibility.
True, but a lot of times, Chris, we'll see these internal IT guys, the guy that's been there for 10 years, 20 years, keeping stuff going. And when he sees somebody else coming along, he gets real nervous real quick. And the thing is, we're here to help people.
Oh, yeah. The problem I see with internal IT is they're just overworked, overstressed, overworked. They don't have time to go out and really keep up to date with like newer trends and things like that. So it's really good to just bring somebody else in that can be like, you know, I don't want to say a friend necessarily, the person, because maybe you're not friends or whatever, but you know, be like that person that can come in there and give you like, hey, here's the trends that are going on. Here's what we see. Here's some things that maybe you should do. And then just be an assistant and really make that person more successful. You know, that's what we try to do. That's what we try to do. I just want to, you know, obviously you and I, we just want to help people. Like, it's not really I mean, yeah, we need to sell things, but I don't think you do hard sells. I don't. I just want to help educate people and really make good decisions in the business and make sure that they're, you know, if they've been around for 20 years, let's make sure that you're around for another 20 years, you know, not because of some mistake.
So with that being said, it's, you know, we're 12 minutes into this. If anyone has any questions or topics, be sure to comment them in where you're watching this video, and also watch our social media feeds, because Chris and I are both about education, and we are constantly doing webinars and other training events that are out there to keep people safe, secure, protected. And I think that's all we got for this week. Go ahead.
One more thing. This is not a good idea, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're not sure if your IT is good and you're willing to come on here, we can absolutely roast you. Depending on the week, it might get real good. It might, we might be banned from most platforms if it really goes bad. But no, seriously, if you want to come on here and you want to talk about like what you're doing, if you want any questions or just submit questions to us, we're more than happy to answer them. We're not going to out you if that's what you're worried about. So if you DM one of us, we're not going to out like who you are or anything like that, but we'll answer questions. So
I wonder if we can put somebody on the show with a voice changer and a mask over them to be totally transparent.
Oh, we'll get him to do the AI thing, and there'll be somebody else. We can have him like be like Morgan Freeman or something like that, or like Samuel Jackson. That'd be funny.
So I was at an event where they brought in a speaker that was the business owner, talking through the breach that he had when the FBI came knocking at his door to tell him he was breached.
Oh, they hid his identity.
No, this was the business came. Well, no, this was live. This was like 2 years after the breach happened. He talked about how it really affected him and his company. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think putting a mask on somebody and doing a voice change, that'd be fun.
Anyway, guys,
change a voice midstream. That'd be awesome. All right,
let's get back to work here.
All right, everybody have a good week.